All right, so I'm about to call the Deuel County Sheriff's Department. I called them last week. It's been a whole week. They still haven't gotten back to me. I spoke to Deputy Greenman or Fisher, I don't remember which. They told me that Deputy Holloway was on duty and he was likely the one who was going to come talk to me. And guess what? He didn't.
Okay, Sheriff's Office.
Hello, is this Lynn?
This is Leslie.
Ah, yeah, it's been a lot of years. It's difficult. I wasn't sure if it was you or your sister working there.
Oh, it's me.
All right. I called up last week, and I was told, I believe by Deputy Fisher.
Hold on.
Yes,
You've got to
ma'am.
tell me because I don't know who I'm talking to right now.
Oh, Sean Schwartz.
Thank you. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, now you may continue.
Yeah. I remember in high school, your sister was mean, and I took it out on you because I got you both wrong back then, and you grabbed your hair and said, Leslie has less hair.
Probably.
All right. I need to get some tools that are over at Amy Spencer's house. I'd like to be able to do so without any sort of altercations and without having to deal with the stresses of that whole situation. I need an officer to go with me so that I can recover my things without having any sort of issues. I would rather have a policeman there than have them throw a friggin' tantrum and then them call the cops and lie because they're unhappy. I need my things back.
Okay. What's your phone number, Sean?
Give me a second. It's on the back of my telephone. It's 308 566.
I'm busy right now. No one's in here right now. So, did you have a deadline that you needed to do this today, or?
Well, I would like to get it done as soon as possible. The longer that my stuff is over there, especially with Amy's meth addiction, the more likely it is that they're going to sell it, and I don't need my things sold. I busted my butt for those tools, and I took them over there for safekeeping because they made empty promises. They promised me that my stuff would be safe there, that they wouldn't sell it or get rid of it. They wanted to use my tools, and that was the agreement. They also have my tattoo equipment, which they were supposed to, because I didn't have an income after Natalie was killed. I needed an income, and I wasn't able to, because I was living out of a vehicle. I didn't have a place where I could actually stop and set up shop to do anything. They said that they were going to they would use the tattoo machine to make some money, and they would throw some of that money my direction for using my tattoo equipment. And they never sent me any money. They started ignoring my calls. And from what Brianna McIntosh, or well, it's Brianna Ingersoll now, from what she was telling me, Amy and her boyfriend Josh sold my tattoo equipment for meth. Now, I'd like to believe that she's wrong about that. I would like to get my tattoo equipment back. It's not just the fact that it's tattoo equipment, it's also the fact that it's sentimental. I bought it for myself and some friends. One of those friends is dead. Two of those friends are no longer my friends, but that tattoo equipment, it was expensive. It was a birthday present in 2016, and it's something that I really need that stuff back. I can't just let people victimize me, and I can't get the police to really do anything about the victimization. I don't choose to be in this situation. it's the fact that I'm different and people aren't very accepting of different.
Right. Well, I certainly hope that you are able to obtain your stuff. I hope they still have it all. I'm just going to send out an email to everyone that's on duty and let them figure out who's going to contact you and who's going to address this.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a good day.
You too. Bye.
Bye.
When I was in high school, there was Lynn and Leslie Paul. They were twins. She might have gotten to hear that too. My older brother, I followed his reputation at Chapel, Nebraska. By the time I got here, matter of fact, Big J, the first time I met him, he was dating Lynn, I believe. I don't remember which one he was dating. It was right when I first got to Chapel. And Jason came over because my older brother, Eric, or Rabbit as he's known in Boulder, had some problems with her. And he came over to the house looking for my brother. I'm like, wait, he's inside. I'll go get him. That's how I met Big J. I am friends with Big J to this very day. One thing that I remember about Lynn and Leslie, when I tried out for cheerleading, Lynn and Leslie were both going to be cheerleaders. Only one of them actually did that year. And the other cheerleaders were Kim Jepson and Barb Dana, Heather Fisher, and Alyssa Derry. And Kristen Kepler tried out for cheerleading too. She, amazingly enough, she was the only one who was able to do the splits. I've always liked the Paul twins, but we always called them the Paul twins, Lynn and Leslie Paul. The thing is that they're individuals. They're not the same person. When I was in high school, Lynn and Leslie, when she grabbed her hair and said, Leslie has less hair, like that's really what set it in motion for me about just because you're twins doesn't mean you're the same person. Because she'd never done me any wrong. Her sister was just a bitch. And you know what? Her sister treats me differently now. People change after high school. Well, some people do. Dylan Bauer was my biggest bully in Lodgepole High School. Since then, he talks to me like a human being. Dustin Mitchell, or sorry, not Dustin Mitchell, Dusty Payton. He wasn't actually that big of a bully in high school. He just had a crush on Shauna Talish and wanted to impress her. Now, when it comes to the person who works at their office who did wrong, that would be Destiny Vogt. And I don't know if her last name is Vogt anymore. She used to have a sister named Courtney. They're not twins. They have a father named Rick Vogt, who used to work at Pump and Pantry. But then he had a aneurysm after taking a fall. And I don't know, Rick never really had that good of an attitude around me, but he was really a dick. But the thing is that Destiny is friends with those officers. And now when it comes to, what was it, 2 months ago, 2.5 months ago, something like that, when I was trying to turn in Deputy Hahn. I don't know who was working at the time, but whoever it was said that, well, it was basically sticking up for Officer Hahn. I got to make a couple more reports about the officers in this town too, though, now. there was one of the officers wanted to pull over and talk to me because I was screaming, and rightly so. I was screaming walking down Chapel, Nebraska. But as I started trying to tell him for probably the 10th time in this town, telling the cops what the fuck was going on for the 10th time at least, that officer wanted to talk over me and tell me how to think and how to feel. When somebody is trying to tell you what's going on, your job as an officer is not to play judge, jury, and executioner. Your job is to fucking listen, to get the details, to write it the fuck down. But he was too busy making excuses for the sheriff of this town, too busy making excuses for the bad officers in this town. Now, this is one of the newer officers. That's why I don't know in specific which one it is. Might be Greenman, might have been Greenman, might have been Fisher. I don't know. What I do know is that whenever I go to the sheriff's department here, I already know that it's the wrong thing for me to do. But there is no other law enforcement here to go to except for the state patrol or the FBI, neither of which actually gives a shit. Now, if you don't investigate a crime, does that mean that a crime never happened? You fucking pieces of shit. The things that I did that are illegal, I did those things after going to the cops repeatedly about people doing those things to me. And cops wouldn't do a goddamn thing about them. They wouldn't write it down. They wouldn't document it. They kept on turning off their fucking body cameras. Fuck you if you're a police officer. Fuck you if you support police officers. You want to pretend all officers are good because your uncle's an officer? Your uncle's your fucking uncle. He could be the greatest uncle in the world. That doesn't make him a good fucking cop, you fucking moron.